Hello, good evening, and welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Well PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, GPHA, and our media partner on this journey of a lifetime is the Business and Financial Times. Now, if you want to have the grasp of all that transpired in the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here on the show. We are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are live at Ghana Port and Harbours Authority. Ghana Port and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are live at Port of Tema. And on YouTube, we are live at Iron Port Ghana. Iron Port Ghana. We shall be getting interactive with you. And so all you have to do is send us your messages, comments via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0559019177. 0559019177. At the appropriate time, we pick signals from the production team. We shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the show. Please stay with us.
Guys, no, I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I come.
Shut up!
Mame, Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for that.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah, our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance Motor Policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the project and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm. sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. And indeed, importers and exporters have been urged to refrain from all unlawful practices in the line of duty. Plus the fact that the network of professional women in the maritime and port sectors of West and Central Africa, that's the local or Ghana chapter, was also launched in the course of the week. Let's take a look at these stories and more.
Importers and exporters have been advised to refrain from engaging in unlawful practices to reduce duty payments, as they may face consequences during the post-clearance audit process. This came up during a seminar on customs post-clearance audit organized by the Ghana Shippers Authority in Kumasi. The seminar was organized in response to recurrent complaints from importers and exporters regarding the financial inconveniences they face after undergoing the post-clearance audit conducted by the Ghana Revenue Authority. The objective of the post-clearance audit is to verify the accuracy and correctness of the information provided by importers or exporters during the customs clearance process. It aims to identify any errors, omissions, or irregularities in customs declarations, such as incorrect valuation, misclassification of goods, inaccurate determination of origin, or discrepancies in quantities or weights. The Deputy Ashanti Regional Commander for Customs, Evans Tay Agbozo, explained that the post-clearance audit is mandated by law, and only importers and exporters who try to circumvent duty payments will be held liable and required to pay any differences found after the audit.
If you clear your goods 6 years later, up to 6 years, we can still come to you and visit you. So basically, the only challenges to post-clearance towards traders is just to be compliant.
Benedetta Bismarck, the CEO of the Ghana Shippers Authority, stated that the authority's aim is to ensure that importers and exporters are well informed to avoid actions that may lead to future difficulties.
It is instructive to note that in the execution of our mandate, the Ghana Shippers Authority regularly interacts with shippers to get real-time information on bottlenecks they face in the conduct of their business and takes steps to resolve these bottlenecks in order to make the shippers' business smoother.
Participants at the seminar were drawn from the Ashanti, Bono East, and Ahafo regions. They expressed their enthusiasm and urged the GRA to conduct regular educational sessions on similar challenges to empower them. The Ghana chapter of the Network of Professional Women in Maritime and Port Sectors of West and Central Africa has been launched, creating another crucial avenue for the voices of Ghanaian women in the sector to be heard. This adds up to increasing efforts of actors within the sector to promote an all-inclusive approach to dealing with pertinent issues. The launch took place during the annual 3-day seminar of the network in Tema, Ghana, where sustainability issues within the maritime industry were addressed. First elected president of the national chapter of the network, Abna Sewa Opoku-Fosu, echoed the significance of the network in providing unique perspectives for the sector's development.
Women are the greatest reservoir of talent, and we are more powerful when we empower each other. By including more women in the decision-making process, we can bring different viewpoints and ideas to the table, which can lead to better outcomes and a more inclusive environment for everyone.
The president, who is the marketing and public affairs manager of the Port of Tema, called on women in the sector to join the network so collectively they can forge ahead in the quest for a holistic, inclusive approach to development.
I wish to urge all women in the industry who wish to belong to the network not to hesitate, for we cannot make this journey alone as leaders, but it is through your support, critiques, and encouragement that we'll have something to do together.
All right, so those were some happenings in the port and shipping industry in Ghana during the course of the week. We are now going for some international port and shipping news.
The government of Canada has announced an investment of up to $38 million under the National Trade Corridors Fund to improve cargo movement at the port of Argentia, based in Newfoundland. The funds are targeting the expansion of the existing fleet dock terminal. This expansion includes the construction of approximately 460 meters of berthing space for 3 new berths to accommodate larger vessels, a roll-on roll-off ramp to facilitate the movement of containers and cargo, as well as increasing available dockside space by approximately 100,000 square meters. The port said the project will also promote environmentally sustainable practices, such as supporting green energy and low-carbon fuels. MSC Cruises, the cruise division of Swiss shipping giant MSC Group, has achieved a drop in carbon emissions intensity worth 33.5% since 2008 and is on track to achieve its 40% reduction target ahead of 2030. The company made this revelation in its sustainability report for 2022. The cruise major aims to become carbon neutral by 2050. However, as the company grows its fleet, its absolute carbon emissions are on the rise as well. The company admits achieving net zero emissions will require more than finding further operational efficiencies, meaning investments in new technologies and making the switch to renewable fuels.
All right, so those were some international port and shipping news. Well, it's now time for us to bring you the phrase or word of the day. Remember, the word or phrase of the day has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. Today's word is key. Key.
Quay is a stone or metal platform lying alongside or projecting into the water where ships are moored for loading or unloading. It is a structure built parallel to the bank of a waterway for use as a landing place.
Okay, so welcome back. Now we are zooming into our discussion proper tonight, and tonight we're taking a look at the National Vehicle Task Force, which has been constituted by the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. You would have come across some uniformed men from the Customs Division, in the course of your trip, to and fro the cities, and they would have accosted or, stopped you to check the details of your vehicles. Now, the underlying reason for this is to ensure that the vehicle that you are driving is actually not a smuggled one, or it's not an uncustomed one. When we say an uncustomed vehicle, it means that you haven't actually cleared the vehicle from the port. You haven't paid the legitimate or legal duties that you're supposed to pay before you pick the car from the port and make it your own. And so this is the duty of this particular task force. And we're taking a look at their activities to clamp down on uncustomed and smuggled vehicles on our routes in the country, and what exactly the mandate of the National Vehicle Task Force is, and how far they've come in their quest to clamp down on such uncustomed and smuggled vehicles on our roads. And so it gives me pleasure this evening to introduce to you. Last week we had Mr. Francis Van der Poy, Senior Revenue Officer, and he's in charge of the car park at the Kotoka International Airport. He's also head of the National Vehicle Task Force. And also in the studios with us this evening, we're privileged to introduce to you King Godfred Akoligle, who is an Assistant Revenue Officer, and he's also the head of the National Vehicle Task Force A. That tells us that they have different task forces, 2 task forces? So we have 2 teams, yeah. A and B, and so he's head of Team A. Mr. Akoligle, welcome.
Thank you.
Great. So let me come to you, Mr. Van der Poy, first of all, and I want you to give us some perspectives, some background into the National Vehicle Task Force. What necessitated its birth? What gave birth to it? What was the underlying or overarching reason why the Customs Division decided to come up with this particular task force?
Thank you very much for having us, and especially it feels good to come back here within a space of 1 week.
1 week, absolutely. We're glad to have you.
So the activities of the National Vehicle Task Force, before I dwell on what the role is,
yes,
I want to first and foremost talk about vehicle task forces across the sections, all sections and sectors of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Yeah. So at every sectional and station level, there are vehicle task forces. These task forces are formed at sector level, station level, to clamp down on activities of vehicles that have contravened the Customs Act, 2015 Act 891, one way or the other. Having said that, the National Vehicle Task Force is equally a task force formed and situated at the headquarters of the Ghana Revenue Authority Customs Division.
Right.
However, they are not, or we are not limited to, as it were, operating within our jurisdiction.
Yeah, sure.
However, we go to all the nooks and crannies of the nation, not to compete with the other task forces at these sector and station levels, but to complement their efforts at doing these assignments, to collaborate, perform duties together, and share ideas. Because as the various teams go around performing their duties, each time we come out with findings as regards the modus operandi of the various defaulters.
Absolutely.
So we share ideas. Now, the commissioner of the Customs Division, who is a member of the National Security Council, instituted the National Vehicle Task Force for the following reasons. One, to intercept uncustomed vehicles, to intercept vehicles which duties have been paid but short paid, to intercept vehicles stolen from foreign lands and somehow they found their way into our jurisdiction. 4, overstayed or diverted vehicles brought into the country under temporary vehicle importation. 5, vehicles that entered the country on transit en route to our neighboring landlocked countries, but somehow failed to exit. 6, vehicles whose owners have falsified their documents or tampered with their chassis numbers to sort of make it look legitimate and run them in the country. And then finally, those that may have been stolen, some of them even at gunpoint. So basically, these are the reasons for which the Commissioner Customs Division of the GRA formed it. Now, one would say, is he using his arbitrary powers or muscles to...
Is there any legal backing for the establishment of the task force?
So the legal backing for which the Commissioner Customs Division formed, especially the National Vehicle Task Force, but by extension, the various task forces at the sections and sectors are as follows. So all are enshrined in the Customs Act 2015 at 891.
Okay.
So section 112 says that members or the team members have all the powers of the police. 115, the power to arrest and detain persons and vehicles. Section 116, power to patrol freely. 117, power to search premises. So what it means is that if there is a hint that there is a vehicle that has contravened but is hidden in any place, say your private premises, a warehouse or wherever, the law gives us the power to search that premise to see if there is anything illegal. Then there is section 118, power to stop vehicles. Section 119, power to board vehicles. And then section 120, the power to seize abandoned vehicles. So in a nutshell, this is the role of the various task forces, especially the National Vehicle Task Force, and indeed the powers that bestowed on us in the
all right, if you can go over them again. To patrol freely, to search, to stop, and to board. Yes, and then if you can add it, and also to seize.
Yes.
Yes, if you can add the rest, because I think you started and I didn't.
Okay,
actually.
so section 112 is that the team members have the powers of the police. 115, power to arrest and detain persons and vehicles.
Right.
116, power to patrol freely.
Mhm.
And then 117, power to search premises.
Right.
Need I go on? I think
Yes.
that's about.
Just
so
add up, yeah.
118, power to stop vehicles. 119, power to board vehicles. 120, power to seize abandoned vehicles.
Right. Great. Okay. Thank you very much. That's quite elaborate. So when exactly was this particular task force set up? If you recall, which year?
In 2017.
2017.
Yes.
Okay. And you've been active all this while?
Yes.
Okay.
Very active, I can assure you.
All right. You mentioned in your initial submission that you don't only limit your operations to the confines of your offices and all that.
That is a national vehicle task force.
Yes, you move to the regions as well.
That's right.
Let me come to you, Mr. Akwaligle, and find out from you, do we have such members of the task force in the various sector commanders across the regions? And the national, you are with the national task force. Do you visit the regions like randomly, or you have your team members stationed there permanently as well?
Okay. We don't have permanent members there. But the national, the one from Accra, we complement them.
Right.
We go to the various regions randomly to complement them and work for a period and also exchange ideas.
Right. Okay, so it means that you can decide that today some members of the National Task Force team are visiting this region A,
yes,
or you are visiting region B.
Yes.
Okay, so when you visit some of the regions, I know there are some regions which activities may be highly concentrated than others, depending on the level of vehicles registered in that particular area and all that. Can you bring us up to speed with, the facts about where you think that there's a lot of pressure as far as your activities are concerned?
But the laws and the acts, the powers that backs our operation, there's no such thing. Everywhere is good to work.
Everywhere?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was trying to find out, because I know in Accra, in Kumasi, these are big commercial cities. I mean, definitely you would come across many intransigent, people who use some of these vehicles and all that. I've had that experience. I mean, one day I was going to the office, and just when I hit the hospital road from Community 11, joining, when you're from Alisa, you're joining the traffic light, and then just right in front of the Shell filling station, I was stopped, and they took details of my vehicle, entered their machine, and then said, oh, okay, I was good to go. And I know that sometimes when you meet some of these people, there are some elements of resistance, that kind of thing. But I just want to find out, I'm just trying to find out which particular regions that you think that we have a lot of these issues, pertaining.
Okay, so the issue is this. Before I come quickly, you asked Godfrey.
Yes.
As to whether they have officers stationed at the various
region, yeah, sure.
And then when they decide to go, no.
Exactly.
So as the officer in charge, together with my superiors, we sit down, we map out.
Okay.
As to where to go, when to go. We are looking at the logistics, funding, and a lot of things. Sometimes weather conditions. So as to where it rotates, it is not as if it is permanent.
Right.
So you see, we have friends of customs who equally help us. They are
volunteer information?
Yes.
Okay.
Sort of informants. And sometimes, at one moment, it could be that at this particular place or this particular town, location, there could be a number of vehicles. Next week or the next month, it may not be so.
Right.
It could be that at the point in time that they are there could be an activity or the other. And so there is an influx of vehicles, and we are bound to get quite a number of these vehicles that have contravened.
Yes.
Another time, it could also be that the perpetrators are organizing themselves and then, as it were, move in transit to their various destinations.
Right.
And so it will be difficult to say that this place is key.
Right.
However, a lot of the times, the borders along the Volta region, on account of the fact that vehicles are said to be cheaper in our neighboring.
Yes, because they have a free port as
That's
they
right.
say, yeah.
And so
Togo,
you are
yeah.
bound to find a huge influx of these vehicles. But the point is that the bulk of them will not be used over there,
Right.
looking at the population of vehicle owners.
Yes.
And so it varies. That is what I can say about.
Okay. So it means that you can be in the office, and when you pick signals that there's some big funeral or some big event happening in a particular place, and you think that there will be an influx of people and vehicles, you can decide that during this particular weekend, then you are visiting this particular location.
Equally counting on past experiences. So as we operate, we keep statistics. So we know that, oh, this place, even when there is a funeral, a big funeral,
yes,
or festivals or what have you,
yes,
we may not get.
Right.
That doesn't mean that we should abandon the place entirely, because sometimes the trend may change. Always these perpetrators, I mean, those who are organized in undertaking these acts,
yes,
will always want to try to be a step ahead of us. And so we look at it, we put our ears on the ground, we pick in intel, and then we see how we go out. But on the whole, there are certain places that if the task force goes on the road from the 1st of January to 31st, every single day, we'll pick a number of vehicles.
Right. Wow.
Greater Accra is one, especially Accra Tema.
Right.
Kaswa is another. Upper East, and then along the borders, Volta, Aplauho, Oti region.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Let me come to you, Mr. Akoligle, and find out from you. Would you describe this particular phenomenon as pervasive? Would you say there's an influx, really high influx of uncustomed and smuggled vehicles into our country?
Yes.
Okay.
There are many. You know, due to the activities of the die-hard smugglers, no matter what you do, they will still smuggle. If you give them some measures to be able to pay their duty, they will still abort it and go ahead and smuggle. So day in, day out, they bring in uncustomed vehicles through legal and illegal means.
When you say die hard, what do you mean?
No matter what you do, you will smuggle.
They will circumvent the system.
Yes.
They will smuggle and bring in.
Yes.
Now, can you give us a sense of appreciation? Let's have a sense of how they're able to smuggle these vehicles into the country. Do they drive at night, or how do they do it? Do they use forest? What kind of routes do they use that they are able to beat the checkpoints and then get the vehicles into the country?
Yeah. They smuggle them in a legal way and illegal way. The legal way is the abuse of the transit. They divert the transit vehicles, the TVI vehicles. They bring them.
TVI, what is TVI?
Temporary vehicle importation.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
They abuse those systems. And then the illegal way, using unapproved routes across the border. And then they enter into the country. Most of the time at night. Yes.
Most of the time at night?
At night.
Okay.
Then also, unfortunately, there are a lot of unapproved routes along the borders, unmanned. And so, a lot of the times, these people are conversant with these, so to speak, safe places of crossing into the country. And then sometimes they may get help from locals.
Right.
To buttress what he said about diehards, the diehards are mostly those who have made it their job to bring into the country uncustomed vehicles with the aim of beating the system. They bring them as a business. So they are so determined that they do not want to put an end to their nefarious activities. They are the diehard people he was talking about.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I just want to find out from you, is there a particular type of vehicle or particular types of vehicles that people love to smuggle into the country?
No.
All manner of vehicles?
Manner of vehicles.
All manner of vehicles. Okay, so
from
how...
luxurious vehicles to the lowest class of vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you mind running us through a day in the life of a typical National Vehicle Task Force member if you apprehend or accost an intransigent driver who is driving an uncustomed or a smuggled vehicle? What are the processes you take the fellow through?
When we mount a snap check and you approach our snap checkpoints, we stop you, we introduce ourselves to you and tell you our intention or why we are there. We run checks on the vehicle with the aid of the chassis number to determine whether duties have been paid or not. Also, we take notice of the chassis, whether it's a tampered chassis or not tampered. And we run them to the system to confirm the information in our system to the vehicle to see if the tallies. And then we also try to see if there's a tag, whether it's a stolen vehicle from outside or locally stolen from someone. So we do all those checks, and if you are clear, we caution you to continue. But if not, we impound a vehicle, detain it for investigation, or seize it for payment of duties.
Okay. So, Mr. Van der Poel, our understanding is that most of the people arrested or accosted for these offenses mostly are ECOWAS nationals. Is that right?
It cuts across. So yes, some are ECOWAS nationals, but there are equally Ghanaians who are deeply involved in this. So it is not as if it is only the ECOWAS nationals. Most of the times, when you see an ECOWAS national involved in this, then it means he or she is likely to have either failed to exit the vehicle he or she brought on transit, or has abused the ECOWAS protocol on free movement of goods and persons, including vehicles. That is a temporary vehicle importation.
Okay, Mr. Akolegle, when you mount your checks on the streets, on the roads, how many vehicles are you able to get in a day?
In a day, depending on the location, we could get a minimum of 7 vehicles in a day.
And which one are they, smuggled or uncustomed, or both?
It ranges from abuse of ECOWAS protocol, diverted transits. Some transit vehicles will exit and then they find their way back into the country. Yes, and then they are fake numbers, registration numbers on the vehicle. And also some TVI vehicles, they tamper the chassis to evade the tax. So these are vehicles that we normally apprehend.
But
yes,
a quick one. Now, there's a new trend, and we are beginning to, now that we found out, we are beginning to apprehend them. And the trick is that, I hope the production team will put it on the screen pretty soon.
Yes, okay. So they can put
so
it down. Yeah. The production team can show that video.
The trend is that some people go in for vehicles from outside. Before they ship them to Ghana, they alter or tamper with the chassis numbers and actually ship them into Ghana through our ports.
Why do they do
Tema.
that?
The aim is that when you stop them, the vehicle would have been cleared at the port, but there has been a falsification of information on the vehicle, so that
so I can see some on the pictures.
So this vehicle you are seeing on the screen was cleared at Tema port all right.
Right.
Then the able team intercepted it, checked, and found out that duties had been short paid. So they detained the vehicle, took it in. Lo and behold, the year of manufacture is actually 1998. But they tampered it to read 2002.
So that they would avoid overage payment?
Or have a reduced overage payment.
Right.
So in effect, an inexperienced officer will look at the documents and may be fooled into thinking that, oh, duties have been paid. It passed through Tema.
Yes.
But the crux of the matter is that the proper duties have not been paid.
Yeah.
And I think if they show the next one, you will see how the tampering was done. So this is it.
Okay.
When we went to the car, this chassis number, which is tampered, is made to read or give the information that so instead of duties being assessed on a 1998 Hyundai Grace,
it was done based on 2002. Okay.
And there was a reduction in everything.
Yes.
So this vehicle was taken in, it was established, and it was reassessed, and the short collection was recovered.
Okay.
But then you deceived us. You made an attempt to go around the duties.
Yeah.
So aside the recovery of what was short collected, you will be penalized. And so the warning out there is that it's not worth it. We are beginning to see this side of their tricks.
Yes.
And we are ready for them. We are combating them.
Yes. Mr. Akolegile, when you were speaking, you made mention of the fact that some of the vehicles that you intercept, the drivers they abuse ECOWAS protocols. Explain that. If it's abused ECOWAS protocols using an uncustomed or smuggled vehicle, what does that mean?
Temporary vehicle importation is ECOWAS protocol that enable citizens of the ECOWAS states travel between
within West Africa,
member states. Yes. For private vehicles, it's supposed to be 90 days.
90, okay.
If you are entering and you are given 90 days, if it expires, you have to go out.
Right.
But if you are given less than 90 days and it expires, you can go to the nearest customs office and renew up to 90 days. And then you go out.
Right.
But if it expires and you still stay in the country, or give it out to someone, either by exchange, sell, lend, or even engaging in commercial activities with it, it is an abuse of ECOWAS protocol. So we will apprehend you and let you do the right thing.
So, a quick one. What, in effect, if you bring a vehicle into the country under the ECOWAS protocol, there are do's and don'ts. So one of the do's is that you have a time frame within which you are supposed to exit the country. You have up to a maximum 90 days. If for some reason you were not given the 90 days, and whatever number of days you were given is coming up, but you think you need extra days, you are at liberty to go to the nearest customs office, give justifiable reasons as to why you would want an extension. But if you are given 90 days, like my colleague said, then you have to exit.
Okay.
Now, the don'ts. Mind you, duties have not been paid on these vehicles. And so you are not under any condition or situation whatsoever to, as it were, dispose of the vehicle.
Right.
They go on the road, they intercept vehicles, they ask for documents, and they haven't got documents. You find out that some of these people, the new owners, so to speak, have exchanged plots of land, for instance, parcels of land for the vehicle. Now, the law says that on the expiration of the duration, exit. If, however, you would want to regularize it,
you have to go and renew.
Consult or apply to the Commissioner General, pay duties, and then now you can do whatever
you want to do.
You are not even supposed to exchange it, lend it out, use it for racing, pledge. So you have come here under temporary importation, and then you think you are going for a loan or something, you pledge it. No, it is not allowed. So this is what.
Okay, so it means that if I have my car and I find a plot of land somewhere and I think that is perhaps worth the value of my car, I can come to you who owns the land and say, okay, I have this car. I want to give it to you in exchange for a plot of land.
Yes.
And you take it. But how come that you are not going to insist that I should give the documents to the car?
Yes. So first and foremost, before you go in to transact the said business with the landowner, apply to the Commissioner General.
Right.
Make good all the taxes and duties on the vehicle before you can do anything else.
Yeah.
Otherwise, on the expiration of the period allowable, you need to exit the country.
Have there been instances where you have taken somebody's car, you've impounded or intercepted somebody's car, taken the car to perhaps your premises or wherever you park, and then the fellow do not make follow-ups to redeem the cars?
Yes.
There have been instances of that nature. And so what happens to those cars at the end of the day?
They are being seized after 30 days of detention if the owner doesn't come forward to be seized. And after under 30 days, we gazetted and given to the state.
You auction it.
Yes.
And once you auction it to a new person, it means that the fellow can pay the requisite duties and everything and take it. Or once you gazette it and the fellow takes it, it means that the fellow has legitimately acquired it, and so there will be no issues of smuggle or uncustomed or anything like that.
Because whatever is supposed to be paid on it has been redeemed by the price placed on it by customs.
Okay.
So the moment you go through the payment regime, you get all the legitimate documents.
Right.
And a quick one, there is another category of vehicles that we are also clamping on. These are vehicles that actually enter the country legitimately.
Right.
But were granted exemptions. So exemptions to say anybody at all. Now, upon transfer of vehicle, these exemptions are specific and not open.
Right.
So if, say, in your capacity as whatever office holder, you, Kennedy, you are given an exemption on your vehicle.
Right.
When you decide to sell it to me, the exemption was specific to you and not to me or any other person. And so you have to make good whatever amount was exempted before you sell it to me.
Right.
So the task force equally meets owners of vehicles who have acquired said vehicles that were exempted in the first place.
Yes.
And they failed to make good the exemptions that were granted.
Yes.
So when the team meets you, you will think you will have customs documents all right. And so sometimes there are fights, so to speak, between the owners of such vehicles, and then the team. They don't understand that they have customs documents legitimate, and their vehicles are being taken in.
Right.
But as far as the exempted duties have not been paid, there is an offense committed.
Right.
It's an illegality.
Wow. Okay. So have there been instances where, somebody has been prosecuted for such offenses? Okay, so I think that the picture you were looking for is now here.
Yes.
Yeah, the video you're looking for is here now. So this is a chassis number. This is a fake chassis number that they placed there, and that's the original chassis number there.
Yes.
Wow.
So the fake number calls for 2002, when actually this one calls for 1998.
Yes. So the one you are holding, the one the fellow is holding is the 1998 one.
No,
is the 2002, and then the one inset there, the original one is the 1998.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And it was done to deceive customs.
Yes.
So
how was it detected? How did you find out? Because obviously it's only an experienced officer that can find this out.
Okay, so I think Godfrey will equally say, but I have a number of years experience as well. So we cannot give out too much information. But you see, there are certain dynamics. One of them is that Hyundai Grace, the production was for a certain period.
Right.
After which it's
they ceased
metamorphosed
manufacturing.
to Hyundai H100, and then H200.
Right.
And then at another time, it went on to H1, H2.
Okay.
And so you go on the road and you look at certain chassis numbers.
Yes.
You can quickly, from my experience, tell the age. And then sometimes you see something does not add up.
Yeah.
Sometimes the way the chassis number has been embossed, certain traits will tell us out of experience. And then, for instance, a vehicle like Mercedes-Benz C180, you know, they come differently shaped, the models.
Yes.
So when you see a particular model, you know one is from, say, 1995 up to 2000.
Yes.
Another from 2001 to, say, 2012. And so you are looking at one that your experience tells you that this is the one that falls between 95 and 2000. But you are looking at the one that looks like 2012 and the like. You are looking at the mud guards, the shells, the tail lights, but we cannot give out too much of.
Yes. Okay. I just wanted to find out. So, in this particular instance, where the chassis number was tampered with, and you were able to, discover or to detect.
Yes.
Exactly. That means that there was a short collection.
Definitely.
And so, did you get the fellow to pay up?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, that he came up. In fact, this particular one was an importer. Fortunately, he was using his own vehicle. He had not sold it. And he was so cooperative. And he said, customs should go ahead, work out whatever difference is. And he was willing to pay.
Okay.
And so, the short collection was retrieved, and he was given some penalty for the deceit. So that it would serve as a deterrent.
Okay. So he quickly had to come and do that so that he could save his ass, so to speak.
And then the vehicle was eventually released to him.
Okay. Yes. All right. So the state has taken his due and everything is fine. So he had to do away with the fake chassis number.
Yes. Okay. And then also, as it were, now you see, in the clearing process, the fake chassis number is what is in the system.
Yes.
It has been taken off. The next time he meets another team, and they see what is currently in there, they may stop it because it wouldn't go.
Yes.
So, in regularizing it, customs will equally make an input vis-a-vis what was entered, which was fake,
yes,
and what is currently to be found.
Right.
So anybody who intercepts him, goes through the system, will not inconvenience them.
Absolutely.
We are careful about, stakeholders. Once we have recovered whatever is due, we wouldn't want to cause you any inconvenience.
Right.
So that's
absolutely. All right. So in terms of collections or revenue figures, since 2017, since the inception, so to speak, of the task force, can you give us any figures how much you've been able to raise for the state?
That unfortunately we don't have it readily available. Maybe someday we can collate all, but I can tell you for a fact that these revenues are massive. Let me give you some two instances.
Right.
So sometime, was it October last year, upon a tip-off that was given directly to the Customs Commissioner, Customs Division Commissioner, the tax was led by Godfrey.
Yes.
And under the power assigned to us, power to search premises.
Yes.
They went to East Legon.
West Legon.
West Legon. Okay. And in a private premises, they were able to apprehend and then brought to our premises and detained 20 motorbikes. And we are talking of high-flying motorbikes, not our regular motorbikes.
Yeah.
Say that,
20?
yes, I can off-head talk about Harley Davidson.
Yes.
And then I think a couple of BMW motorbikes with chassis numbers 3,000.
Wow.
And some of them paid as much as 30,000
for one bike.
Yes, for one bike.
Wow.
Then also in January this year, there was a vehicle that same issue, tip off to the Commissioner Customs Division, and the team went to the premises, and then they got this vehicle. That one vehicle, January this year alone, paid 604,000 Ghana cedis.
604,000?
Yes, for one vehicle.
For one vehicle?
Yes.
That must be a super luxury vehicle.
Sure. But I wouldn't want to disclose the type of vehicle. We want to protect
604,000 Ghana cedis.
Yes. So we get a number of vehicles that some 200 plus, 300 plus, and we are still going.
Wow.
Yes. So, and I can assure you, like I said earlier, from 1st January to 31st December in a particular year, if the task force decides to operate in Accra Tema, Kaso alone, every single day,
yes,
I can assure everyone that we wouldn't get less than between 7 and 10 vehicles.
And then you should aim there so that we can make more money for the state.
We are doing our bit.
No, but I'm quite taken aback by the figures you gave, particularly with reference to the 20 motorbikes, where each motor perhaps even paid like 30,000. So how come these motorbikes
was 200,000?
The highest?
Yes. The motorbike.
Yes.
For one motorbike?
Yes. High flying motorbikes.
200,000 Ghana cedis.
For instance, you know Harley Davidson
it paid 200,000.
Yes. And the modus operandi in this situation.
That's what I just wanted to unlock. How come?
So these didn't come complete. They came knocked down. They came
assembled
at variously. And then they were assembled behind closed doors.
Wow.
So it is not as if they came
through the
home
port.
to the port.
Exactly. Because we have read some element of compromise, that kind of thing. Yeah.
So the revenue is massive, and we want to warn.
I wish I would have been the one
to warn them.
I wish I would have been the one to give you the tip off, especially for the 604,000 one.
It is not late.
What's the percentage?
I can't.
The informants.
But I can assure you that
yes, informants.
If any informant gives us a reliable information. When duties and taxes are made good, there is a reward system.
Yeah.
Aside that, I can tell you for a fact that your safety is assured.
Confidentiality.
Confidentiality. You will not
be exposed.
And we will even plead with the informants. Some of them would want to boast.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
And it is not safe security-wise. So, but if you give us a concrete information, rest assured
that for me.
Certainly.
Hallelujah. I wish I were the one to give that.
It is not late. It is not late.
And somebody paid Harley Davidson 200,000 to this duty.
Yes, and that was even 2022.
2022.
So this year it's
just a motorbike.
Yes.
Wow. Anyway. This is Ion Port here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we're taking a look at the role of the National Vehicle Task Force in their quest to clamp down on uncustomed and smuggled vehicles. And with us in the studios doing the discussion tonight is Mr. Francis Vanderpoel. He's a Senior Revenue Officer at the Customs Division, Ghana Revenue Authority. He's in charge of the car park at the Kotoka International Airport. He's also head of the National Vehicle Task Force. And indeed also in the studios is Mr. King Godfred Akoligle, who is an Assistant Revenue Officer, and he's in charge of the National Vehicle Task Force A. We're told they have two National Task Force teams, A and B, and so he's in charge of Team A. And there are those who are having a discussion with. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the discussion. Please do stay with us.
Guys, no, I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Now out with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for that boy,
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah, our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the project and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, so welcome back. This is Ion Port here on Metropolitan Television. Like I told you earlier, we are taking a look at the National Vehicle Task Force and their role in clamping down on smuggled and uncustomed vehicles. And with us in the studios, Mr. Francis Van der Poel, Senior Revenue Officer at the Ghana Revenue Authority. He is in charge of the car park at the Kotoka International Airport, and he's also head of the National Vehicle Task Force. And also in the studios, King Godfred Akoligle, who is an Assistant Revenue Officer in charge of National Vehicle Task Force Team A. There are two teams, and they are those we are having the discussion with. I've been told by the production team that we can activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. The number to dial is 020-552-8353. The number is on your screen, 020-552-8353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. Now, we're going to your inbox to take some messages. And this one says, my name is Kumai Nachimoto. I heard a point about the unapproved routes. I think one of the primary ways of ending this phenomenon is cutting off these unapproved routes. Perhaps government through customs, immigrations, and the Ghana Police Service and other security services can find a practical way of making it almost impossible to use those routes. I'd like to hear what our people from customs think. So that's somebody's thoughts. You think that there should be a collaboration, a joint collaboration between the customs, immigration, the police service, and other security agencies in your quest to stamp out or to to stop some of these unapproved routes, completely?
Yes.
Is that something that you would want to
yes,
consider?
From time to time, I would say this is a national security issue. And I know for sure they are working on this. But there are a lot of logistical issues and things. So until we get there by climbing these routes and blocking them, I think one of the ways is to empower our various vehicle task forces at sector and station levels, complemented by the National Vehicle Task Force, until such a time that these unapproved routes can be blocked.
Right. Okay, so let's go on to the phone lines and welcome Kwabena J. He's calling us from Dodowa. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good to have you. Please fire on.
Okay, so I would like to contribute on the program.
Can you up your voice a bit, please?
Okay, so
great.
I would like to contribute on the program.
Yes, please go ahead.
So what I wanted to know here is fine. It's not. Okay, so what I want to know here is, for instance, an agent has cleared a vehicle for me. Okay?
Right.
And I wasn't aware of whatever anomalies he did. And then finally, maybe they intercept my vehicle. What happens to such an agent? Because probably I didn't freight the car myself. You get it? So is there any form of punishment which is given to that particular agency, or what really happens? Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Kobna from Dodowa. I think you got his question, yes.
So first and foremost, in clearing his vehicle, he sort of has a contract with the agent
yes.
to do the proper thing.
Yes.
So like he said, if the agent did that on his blind side, the penalties
because the likelihood why the agent would do so is that the agent would want to cut corners and to take some of the money.
That's right.
Yes, because he would go for the right duties from the owner, the importer, but decide to shelve some and then pay
whatever
exactly using those fictitious.
So yes, he has options available to him. One is that he can take the agent on legally. He can equally report, or in situations like this, they must report to customs.
Right.
Customs will investigate. And in the past, and still ongoing, certain clearing agents who are caught up in illegalities are either banned or shortlisted, or some punitive measure is taken against such agents.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you can also call, and the number is right on your screen, 020-552-8353. We're still going into the inbox. Can you reach me? Can you reach out to me? That's what. Okay, this one says, I have a case report on what is being discussed on Metro TV. Can you reach out to me? Good evening, please. Can I have the number of the head of the task force? I know of cars smuggled into the country. Okay. He says, my name is Diallo, and I'm very happy for your program and your panel. Thanks for your education. But later, we will talk, please. Okay. That says, good evening to all. Vehicles that enter the country and paid their duties to government and cleared them from the port. Later, intelligence in the hands of other security agencies come in that such vehicles which duties have been paid and cleared are stolen. Are the owners who paid such duties and cleared the vehicles legally entitled to a refund of their duties after the vehicles have been seized? This one is from one Eric.
Okay, so where it is established that a vehicle that has been imported into the country is a stolen one.
Yes.
Customs has other stakeholders, so Interpol, National Security, and others.
Okay, so you hold on with that one. Okay. Let's go and welcome Brakwesi, who's calling us from Tema. When we come, you continue from where you left off, sir. Brakwesi, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, please shoot.
Yeah, reference the issue about the Dodua participants.
Yes.
The agents are registered with customs.
Right.
So over a period, when we realize this is what your agency is doing,
yes,
their certificate is withdrawn as a form of deterring those compliant ones from going that way.
Yes.
That is with those who are perpetrating. That is because the guy was asking, he doesn't know. So it is at his blind side. That is how we also try to check the agents who are acting on their behalf.
Right.
Now, the other aspect of what he is obliged to do is that our offices are open. When there is a problem, when you buy or when you intend buying a vehicle, just take the document that has been presented to you to customs for verification of whatever is there.
Right.
And when you get everything right, you are free to go. And that is why you're having this program, so that it comes to light for people to be what?
Absolutely.
Sensitized.
Thank you very much indeed, Brakwisi. Thank you. Are you a customs officer?
No.
Oh, he's gone. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So to buttress what Brakwisi just said,
yes,
please go beyond the presentation of documents to customs, because experience has shown that yes, prospective buyers in the past will send their documents to or copies of documents given to them by sellers of their vehicles, and the details will be in the system all right.
Right.
However, some issues have come up where the vehicles being put out there on sale have had their chassis numbers altered to read one that is already in the system, so that the chassis number is tampered and it is not the one that duties were paid on. So please, going forward, it is not enough to present documents, but please go together with the vehicle.
Yeah.
In the event that you don't even have the document, if you physically present the vehicle, it is better.
Right.
What will happen is that customs will look at the chassis number, satisfy ourselves that it is original, it is not tampered with.
Yes.
Now we can use the chassis number to run checks in the system and advise you.
Right.
The search, some of these prospective buyers know that if they know that their vehicles are not good, they are not custom, they know the moment we detect it, we will detain it. So
they
some
own
of
the
them,
vehicle.
that's
right. Okay. Good evening to you, Mr. Ibrahim. You are calling us from mile 7. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Please, how are you doing?
I'm terrific. Please shoot.
Yes, please. I have a concern here in the submission.
You have
a
concern, okay.
Concern.
All right, please go ahead.
There's something I want to be clear of. When these vehicles are imported from wherever to Ghana.
Yes.
Yes, when they're imported to Ghana, and then we have examination officers at the port who check these vehicles. And then the chassis number is one of the features they check in these vehicles before the duty is being paid.
Yes.
So my problem here is doesn't mean that these customs officers are not able to check to see that the chassis number is being tampered. And then quite apart from that, after the vehicle duty is finally being paid and the vehicle is being taken to DVLA office for registration, here again, there's another custom officer or officers who still have to go through the maybe duty that was paid. Here they scrutinize the vehicle and they check the chassis number again. So before the vehicle is finally registered and it is on the road. So my concern here is, does it mean that these two series of checks the vehicle might have always passed through before it is finally on the road? Does it mean that these two officers do not always know that the chassis was actually tampered before it might have been intercepted by the task force team? Please kindly let me know.
Okay. All right. Mr. Vanderpoel, I saw you nodding all the while you were speaking. Thank you very much, Francis. Did I say Francis Ibrahim for your call from mile 7? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ibrahim. So First and foremost, let me start with the vehicles on the road.
Right.
Let me say there are two categories of vehicles when they are intercepted. And I mean the ones with number plates.
Yes.
So the two categories are the ones with the genuine number plates.
Right.
And the ones with plates that are fake.
Right.
And so nobody should think that every vehicle that you see on the road with registration numbers
Are genuine. Yeah.
are genuine.
Right.
Some are faked. Now, about the inspection or examination at the ports
Yes.
prior to payment of duties, and then at the DVLA offices prior to registration by
Yes.
custom officers. Yes, customs officers are stationed there. But you see, the checks and these examinations that we conduct, it's a human institution. And so chances are that once it's not 100%. In doing our work, some may slip through our hands.
Yes.
And so that explains why some of these will pass through the ports or approved land borders,
Yes.
but will still find themselves in these situations.
Right. Okay. Yes, you would want to come in, but before you come in, let's go and then pick Steve from Tema. When we come, Mr. Akoligle will come in. Hello, good evening, Steve.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Please shoot. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to contribute to the program.
Please do, yes.
My problem is the chassis stampede. Yeah, my problem is chassis stampede.
Right.
No, they should come out clear and tell us. They've been saying that chassis have been tempered, but there's no any publication to any particular car or a company who importing the cars and they're tempered with the chassis numbers.
Okay, all right. Thank you. So they will handle it, Steve. Thank you very much for calling us from Tema. Yes, you were about coming in, so you come in and then we come to Mr. Vanderpool, yeah.
The issue he raised, the earlier caller.
Yes.
When the task force is an enforcement team,
yes,
which try to undo what was not seen at the port.
Right.
Yes. Sometimes oversight.
Yes.
And we are there to check that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
it's sort of
right.
like some similar to post-clearance audit where
That's
you
right.
can go back after you've
That's
cleared your
right.
goods. You have a grace period of 6 years. You
Yes.
can still go back there and do, some
whatever may have
auditing. Yeah.
not been done right.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
coming to Steve, when we say tamper chassis, or we interchange it with altered chassis, all that we mean is that the chassis number, as put out there on the vehicle by the manufacturer, has been compromised with. So if it is not what the manufacturer put on the vehicle, then it means your chassis number is either tampered with or altered.
Yes.
And they come in several folds. Sometimes they deface everything and emboss new chassis numbers, especially to read what they may have copies of.
Yes.
Sometimes they may alter one or two characters or some of the characters.
Yes.
Sometimes they do interpolation. What we mean by interpolation is that they emboss
Yes.
characters
on
what is already in there.
Okay.
Or they come in several fold. As we speak now, there's one Mercedes-Benz C180 that is in our possession.
Right.
And the problem with it is that if ordinarily you look at it, the chassis number is as the Mercedes-Benz company or put it out there.
Yes.
But what is the problem? The problem is that the frame on which the chassis number was
sitting.
embossed
Yes.
has been cut off from a different vehicle and welded onto this vehicle.
Right.
So yes, it has been tampered in that what was originally put out there on the vehicle in question
Yes.
has been compromised. It has
Right.
been removed and another one from another Mercedes-Benz fixed in there. It is appearing correctly, but it was not meant for that very
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Let's go and welcome David Nati from Kokrobite. Good evening, sir. Steve Natty. Steve Natty, okay.
Yeah, 5 in. Vivi abako dia.
Yami adomo na unso e.
Ani adomo hoye.
Pacho yenkwe.
Pacho program na mu ye na me de pa.
That's
Ba me yeah, me nyami adomo. Me ha on say them say airport one no. Apart from Tema airport ni Tekwade airport. Tema abo ni Tekwade abo. Eni abo bia bio. Car ni nyina e ho nefa.
Ane.
Enti se car bi beba krom a e ha ba ha na befa ba krom. Enti se ba ni se car bi wo krom na se esi entia duty anase ni se. Ni se problem no airport ho. Yo no abo ho no. Because me the car ba me dey car no e ho na custom officers no be car na ma. E na car no so e ho na be fans de pi. E na car na pi abonti. E car no for fans de pi abonti.
Na Mr. Nate se cars no enokre na wo kan e bi efa harbor no e bi nso fa airport. E bi nso fa borders no. Borders no. And I been so from unapproved routes no ntino ntino enokre na wo kan harbor airport any borders no na cars no efa ba ntenye harbor nko a
but any nyina so no process no efa customs so
okay odi penyifo no be you ano why that was so afraid thank you yes so I mean you heard
so Mr. Nate
yes
it is not only through the ports of Takoradi and Tema that these vehicles are brought into the country. But some are brought in through the land borders. Some are brought in, some find their way through unapproved routes. Even like you rightly said, whoever can airlift his or a vehicle can do so airport, through the airports. Now, some also legally pass through, say, the ports under the transit regime, but they fail to exit, or they exit and sneak in back. Some also come under temporary importation, and so to speak, they disappear instead of going back. So these are the situations under which these vehicles find their way to the country.
Right. Okay, so let's take our last caller. I'm told by the production team we have to take a last call. Time is not on our side. And he's Tete. Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Mr. Tete, yeah. Can you speak up a bit, please?
Yeah, can you hear me, please?
Absolutely, yes.
Good. I'm really enjoying the program, but let truth be told. Certain things are a little discouraging in this country. Customers go to buy cars, right? And they want to do the right thing. They want to do the genuine thing. So when they buy the car, some come to custom to check the genuinity of the car. But this country, it seems everything is money. You are going to check whether what you are going to buy is genuine or is not fraudulently acquired, or whether the person paid the required duty or not. You have to pay money. You are going to do your search. You have to pay money. So certain things discourages the buyers. So some will go and buy the car without going to check whether the dealer really paid the required duty to government or not. Because you, the customer, that you are going to check to whether it is genuinely acquired or not, or whether the duty has been paid, so that you don't find yourself in trouble, you have to pay. So all this pay thing is so discouraging. You see, excuse me, it's like going to buy a land. You are going to check whether the land you are buying is genuine. Just going to check too, you have to pay. So all those little pay doesn't help customers. Everybody wants to check and make sure the duties are correctly paid.
Right.
It discourages customers. And finally, when you buy a car, right, and later you find out that the dealer didn't pay the required duty, so custom crammed the car, right?
Yes.
When they seize the car, does the state assist the buyer of retrieving his money? Because let's assume you are there and you just buy a car and you don't know the dealer didn't pay the required duty. Custom has crammed the car. Is there a way the state will assist you, the customer, for the dealer to pay your money while the car remains with the customer or remains with the state? That's my humble question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tete. You were getting a bit, heated along the line, but we're deeply grateful for your useful contribution. Yes.
So one, when you want to check whether the vehicle you are in the process of acquiring is genuinely customed, please, there is no payment to be made. Don't go to a custom officer to do it for you, or you go to somebody parading him or herself as working with customs, and then they will shortchange you. Please go to the customs office near you. If you are in Accra, go to the GRA Customs Division headquarters. Contact the sector commander, the Assistant Commissioner Preventive, or the sector commanders wherever you find yourself. Do it legitimately. There are no charges. And a quick one, as regards whether the state will help you to retrieve your money. First and foremost, if you realize that you have been shortchanged, you've purchased a vehicle that duties have not been paid. And as a law-abiding citizen, and you come forward, customs will assess everything and help you regularize it. Now, customs on itself or on its own cannot go retrieving the money for you. You will have to, you the victim, will have to initiate a legal process against the one who sold the vehicle to you. But customs is ever ready to help in investigations. So what are some of the things? Yes, this vehicle came here, duties have not been paid. These are the pieces of evidence that, yes, duties were not paid and it's been made good. So customs will readily help in the investigations that will be conducted.
Okay. This one says, my car document has been used to register another vehicle. And this one says, Tamale is home of 80%. I'm sure he wants to say, Tamale is home to 80% of illegal cars. Politicians, chiefs won't let security do their work. All right, good and appropriate responses from Mr. Francis Vanderpoy, who is on top of his job. I am proud to have trained him along his progression. I pray that with improved measures and custom vehicles will be eradicated from the country. This one is from Mr. Peter Alu, retired customs officer. You remember? Yes. He sent in this one. This one says, hello, Iron Port. Very useful discussion there. My name is Cleopas in Accra. Clearly, we can all agree some owners of these and customs cars are doing so from an innocent and ignorant place. What is the best advice from our customs reps on how they can prepare themselves when buying vehicles to save them all the hassle? We have just a minute to go. So if you can provide a solution just for this last texter, and then we wrap up. Yes.
If you recall, last week I did make mention of the fact that if you want to purchase a vehicle, please do due diligence. And in the past, prospective buyers were seeing custom officers they knew to do it for them. Now the Commissioner Customs Division has made it mandatory that do it officially. So it is not as if you know Mr. Vanderpoy to be head of the National Vehicle Task Force, you come to me, please do it officially and get an official response. And in doing it, you present the documents, you present the vehicle physically, and then we can advise you appropriately.
Okay. Mr. Akwagile, just one word, and then we'll wrap up. Maybe some advice to the general public, just 30 seconds, and then we'll wrap up.
I would like to even answer one of the questions.
Quickly, yes, because we don't have time,
the man who was saying that, how can custom get back his money? When the vehicle is detained, the detention receipt can be used to lodge official complaint at the police station. And the police will
investigate. All right. Okay. Great. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Mr. Francis Vanderpoy, Senior Revenue Officer, Ghana Revenue Authority, Customs Division, and he is in charge of the car park at the Kotoka International Airport. He's also the head of the National Vehicle Task Force. He was here last week. This week he's here. Very useful discussion with him. And we also have Mr. King Godfred Akoligile. Yes, he is also an Assistant Revenue Officer in charge of Task Force A, National Vehicle Task Force A. He's also been in the studios. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure having you once again in our studios to have this wonderful discussion. You can see the responses and reactions it has elicited from our viewers. It means that this is a very dear topic and subject to them. We'd like to say thank you to you. And also thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. Remember, the show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and we want to thank you so much for joining us. We also want to entreat you to watch the abridged version on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on Ghana Television. My name is Kennedy Mona. We entreat you to keep watching the rest of our programs here and have a super week ahead. Good evening.